Hello everyone, my name is Ziggy, back again with another episode of First Coast Storm Tracking. Most of this took place on March 13th, 2023, but what you're seeing right now on screen was from March 12th. This was as a cold front was moving into the area and the system had a tornado watch. Now, we assumed that by the time that the system had gotten a little further south into the First Coast, that it would have calmed down. And relatively it did, though there were a couple interesting things I managed to record, and I want to show y'all what I was able to find on the storm. So at around 2:30 in the morning on Monday, March 13th, I was woken up because it was storming really early in the morning. And this storm was actually to our south, that you're seeing here now on radar. And as you can see, it maintains a very strong, chunk of wind ahead of it. But then about towards the middle of the scans, you could see it start to form a couplet. And this storm did induce some minor damage near Hawthorne. But I don't know if they're doing an investigation on it. And by investigation, I mean like a traditional tornado damage survey report. Because as you can see here in just a second, the National Weather Service did actually acknowledge that there was a tornado in Putnam County. But as you can see here, it was a very brief, weak rotation. And as they said in the tweet, probably no one would have even noticed it if it weren't for the fact that we have radar. So now we're going to get into what made this particular event so interesting. So I'm going to show you guys one more time the radar scan right here, and then I'm going to have a picture of the full squall. You'll be able to see that even for the middle of the night, it was a very active system. A lot of lightning, a lot of areas of heavy rain. Other than this one cell though, not much severe weather. But again, you can see a lot of lightning here. This storm was severe warned for a while. And even after the tornado warning was about to expire, they issued this special weather statement for almost an hour for land spouts for the storm. First up, I'm going to cover this wind gust report out of Gainesville, clocking at 62 miles per hour, which is pretty fast. So I think I actually saw this gust on radar, which you could see here in the circled area. You could see the intense wind speeds, like almost kicking off the storm northeast of Gainesville in the direction of the alert. And you can see here that the wind speeds do match. It's at around 50-ish miles per hour. The system was also quite the rainmaker. As you can see here, it dropped 2.08 inches on us. It was actually about 2.50 by the end of the day, though. And as you can see here, across most of northern Florida, a lot of rain, 2 to 3 inches in most places, but out west, it got up to 4, 5, even approaching 6 inches in some places. And now on to the part that I'm sure everyone's really interested in, the tornado. Here are a couple of screenshots I took of couplets, and some of them indicate the wind speed of the rotation. Yeah, it was a pretty powerful little rotation for a bit. Thankfully, though, it occurred in a rural area and nobody was hurt by it. I was curious about all this, so I decided to do my own research, and it turns out that most of the stronger tornadoes Florida will see actually occurs around this time of year during the winter and spring months. Wanting to know more about all this, I contacted the National Weather Service and I talked to one of their meteorologists, and they were very polite, very helpful. They answered all my questions from the wind gust I saw, which they described as, they said it was probably a downburst, and that's why it looked like the wind swept outwards on radar. They also did confirm before that tweet was made that I showed earlier that the tornado was, they knew that there was a tornado there, but the lady said as far as she knew, they were not going to do any, damage surveys because not much damage occurred. Nobody was really affected by it. It was just a brief spin up over a rural area of Putnam County. So something that piqued my interest was actually the special weather statement that was issued following the tornado warning about landspouts. Okay, so what's a landspout? Well, basically, they're tornadoes that form from the ground upwards, rather than how typical tornadoes form from the sky downwards due to rotating updrafts inside thunderstorms. They're usually weaker tornadoes, and that likely fits the bill of what happened in Putnam County a few days ago. Now, if you look here, I wonder if that consistent bulge of wind is actually a landspout, because you don't really see much rotation, but it's fit in one spot. And this is between before the storm was tornado warned and after the couplet was seen, which made the National Weather Service issue a tornado warning. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about the storm. Overall, it was very interesting to see. I didn't end up getting on my computer to do coverage because it was like 3 in the morning, but I'm doing this mostly after the storm passed, a couple days later, and I'm just using the videos saved from my phone and analyzing them. And honestly, it's still an effective way to do this. And I honestly love the idea of this series, and I hope that I can continue doing it and continue teaching you guys more about the weather and continuing to learn more about the weather for myself. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.